know that over 1 million electrical wires are recycled every single day in some factories? That's enough to stretch across a whole country. These wires are full of valuable metal like copper, which is in high demand around the world. Instead of throwing them away, recycling gives them a second life and helps save the planet too. Copper is used in almost everything, from cars and phones to homes and power lines. As the world builds more electric vehicles and clean energy systems, we need more copper than ever. But digging it out of the earth is expensive and harms the environment. That's why recycling is so important. Inside old wires, there's copper and sometimes aluminum, both of which can be reused. Instead of letting these wires pile up in landfills, special recycling factories take them in and turn them back into useful materials. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more factory videos. Let's go inside one of these amazing factories and see how it all works. The first step is collecting the wires. These come from many places: old buildings, broken appliances, junkyards, or big companies that replace old systems. Trucks bring in tons of wires every day. Once they arrive at the factory, workers or machines start sorting them. Some wires are thick and strong, others are thin and flexible. Some have copper inside, others have aluminum. Sorting is important because different wires need different ways to be recycled. The wires are separated into groups based on their type. For example, copper wires are put in one pile and aluminum wires in another. This step helps the machines work faster and makes sure the recycling process runs smoothly. After sorting, the wires are taken to big machines called shredders. These machines work like giant blenders, chopping the wires into tiny pieces. It's loud, fast, and powerful. The goal is to break the wires down into small bits so it's easier to remove the plastic from the metal. After shredding, the wires look like a mix of small metal bits and plastic pieces. Next, these chopped up pieces go into a machine called a granulator. This machine makes the pieces even smaller, like grains of rice. Now the mix is ready for the next step: separating the good stuff from the waste. Now comes one of the most important parts: separating the metal from the plastic. This step is key to getting clean copper or aluminum that can be used again. Factories use smart machines to do this. One method is air separation, where air is blown through the mix. Since plastic is lighter, it floats away while the heavier metal falls down. Another method is a vibrating table. It shakes the mix so that metal and plastic move in different directions. Some factories also use magnetic separators to pull out steel or iron bits. What do you think of the working conditions in this factory? Would you swap jobs with these guys? When all this is done, you get two clean piles: one of pure metal, like shiny copper or silver-colored aluminum, and one of leftover plastic. The metal can now be reused to make new wires, pipes, or electronics. The plastic is either recycled or safely thrown away. This step makes sure nothing useful is wasted. Now that the clean metal is separated, it's time to melt it down. The metal goes into large furnaces, which are like super hot ovens. Inside, the copper or aluminum is heated until it turns into liquid. This melted metal is poured into molds to make shapes like rods or bars. These shapes are easy to store, ship, and use again. They are the building blocks for making new wires, car parts, or even smartphone chips. Factories make sure this process is clean. They filter out gases and try to use less energy. Many recycling plants even reuse the heat from the furnaces to power other parts of the factory. The plastic left behind from earlier steps may be melted down too. Some of it can become plastic pellets, which are reused to make things like plastic parts or packaging. By the end of this process, the factory has turned millions of old wires into shiny new materials, ready to be used again. But wire recycling also comes with some difficult challenges. For starters, not all wires are the same. Some are easy to recycle, like pure copper wires with simple plastic covers. But others are tricky. For example, wires from electronics may have layers of rubber, fabric, or different metals mixed in. This variety makes the job harder. The machines must be adjusted often to handle different kinds of wires. Workers have to be careful when sorting so that the process doesn't slow down. Also, some wires come from foreign countries and use materials that the machines aren't set up for. This means factories need to keep updating their systems and training their workers to handle all kinds of wire. Another big challenge is contamination. Wires may come in dirty, burned, or mixed with other trash. Some may have glue, oil, or other chemicals on them. If this junk gets into the machines, it can mess up the process or damage the equipment. Factories use special washers or filters to clean the wires before shredding. Sometimes workers have to remove parts by hand, which takes time. If the final metal is not clean, it can't be sold or reused. That's why recycling factories work hard to make sure the metal is pure and the plastic is safe to handle. Despite the challenges, the process still works, thanks to smart machines, skilled workers, and constant upgrades. Turning old wires into new materials also comes with benefits, especially if you care about our planet. First, it saves natural resources. Copper and aluminum are found underground. Getting them out means digging huge mines, cutting down forests, and using lots of water and energy. But when we recycle, we don't need to dig. We reuse the metals we already have. Second, recycling uses less energy. Making copper from old wires takes about 85% less energy than making it from fresh ore. That means fewer power plants, less air pollution, and a smaller carbon footprint. It also lowers electricity bills for factories. Third, it boosts the economy. Recycled copper and aluminum are valuable. Companies buy them to make cars, phones, batteries, and more. This creates jobs in collection, sorting, processing, and sales. Everyone from truck drivers to machine operators plays a part in the system. Plus, less trash ends up in landfills. That's better for communities and saves money for cities that would otherwise have to deal with the waste. This process is only going to improve. Factories are becoming smarter with better machines and AI systems that sort and separate materials faster and more accurately. Some plants are even using robots. Governments are also starting to support recycling more. New laws, better funding, and public education are helping make recycling part of everyday life. Someday, nearly every wire we throw away could be turned into something new. And as long as we keep recycling, we'll keep saving energy, money, and the planet. Thanks for watching, and if you want to support me, don't forget to like and subscribe.